and welcome to Real Talk One-on-One. I'm Nisi.
I'm Blessing.
I'm Susie.
And I'm Miles.
And today we have a very special guest from the heart of Northwest London. Please, guys, join me in giving a clap for Adesope Olajide.
Thank you very much.
Adesope, thank you so much for coming out here. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I believe you have a nickname, Shopsy Do. Where did that come from? It's quite unusual. Like, it's not
Very unique name.
Yeah, it's pretty much half of my name, Adesope. So some people say Shope, Shopsy, Shop. And I just thought I'd add a little bit to it. Scooby-Doo, no. So let's just make it Shopsy Do instead. And that rings and it's catchy. So unfortunately, it stuck with me forever.
That's good. Speaking of what makes you go into broadcasting,
at
what age do you decide that this is the career you really want to pursue?
Wow. I studied plant science and forestry at university.
How come?
Yes, and spent a lot of time in the lab, studying plants, paleontology, all that stuff. And one night I just thought to myself, I don't want to spend so much time working with plants and in the lab. I'd rather work with people. And I hadn't decided what part of working with people it will be, but I went into the studio with one of my friends working on a pirate radio in South London, and they asked me to do a voiceover. I jumped on the microphone. I enjoyed it. There was an open hour slot for a live show, and I thought I'd take it, play some African music. Nobody was doing that in London at the time, and it was just fantastic. I enjoyed the interaction, the phone calls, and I just thought I can build on this. And that's when it switched. So never did I have, a thought whilst growing up that I was it was all science for me. Of course, you make your friends laugh and be entertained, but you never thought it was going to be something that you take on as a career until when I had the opportunity to go into the pirate radio station. So big ups to the pirate radio stations out there.
Here you are, big ups to the pirate.
Shopsy Do, is there anybody particular that inspired you to get to this line of work?
Wow. Not really. I watch I watch everything from politics, sports, entertainment, reality TV, and some of the personalities that I really enjoyed watching were kind of sports presenters from the States, because it was more personality based rather than information. So those ones were people that I looked at whilst being a radio presenter, that I thought, okay, even though you're a broadcaster, you can use your personality a little bit to kind of convey the news and get into what you were doing. So some of the American ones on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith is a fantastic broadcaster for me. Right. And he's somebody that I look up to even till now. I still check out his shows just to get inspiration.
I mean, you have interviewed one of the biggest names out there, Sherry Cole, Vizkid, Wiley. How was the experience working for them?
It's because I kind of work in different industries, sports and entertainment has given me the opportunity to kind of mix with different personalities out there. Some of the sports personalities are more, if you're talking to boxers, for instance, they're more open because they're trained to speak and sell their fights. Musicians, some come more easier than others, but one of my most difficult interviews forever, I don't think I'd ever find any other interview that difficult, was with the rapper Wale. He was impossible. I came into the studio and they had introduced me to him and said, the person that was bringing me in was like, oh, it's great that you're African. He's been in a bad mood all day, so maybe you can throw a couple of African stuff to him and maybe that would lighten him up. So I went in there already knowing that he didn't want to talk to anybody. He was sat on his desk chair just swinging around. So I walked in and tried my African stuff, but hey, that was the longest 20 minutes of my life.
It was just wrong timing. Wrong timing. You got at a very bad time.
Yeah, but after that interview, I found out that him in particular had difficult interviews in the States, and it just gave me more experience, because what you find out interviewing somebody like that that's not as open is then you have to ask open questions. You have to open him up a little bit. So I think that was probably the most difficult, but the best experience I had as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is there any difficulties behind the scenes, maybe before you meet all these talented people, as Matt said, but you said Wale rapper.
Yeah.
is there anybody particularly again or behind the scene that you just want to share with us that something that behind the scene the camera doesn't see?
So
Well,
say you're backstage,
yeah.
and you know you're at an award show, you're backstage. What goes on backstage that we can't see?
It's because you're dealing with so many people. The interviews you see backstage, about a week ago, I had the opportunity to go to the NBA games in London, and we had a lot of celebrities and sports personalities. However, they don't come by themselves. They have PR officers that really don't want them to talk. So you have to get through about 30 or 40 other media personalities to be able to ask 1 or 2 questions. You have to stand out. If you're lucky to be 6'4" tall with a bald head, that works. But some other times it's just a struggle to get other people to get that time, or perhaps the microphone goes dead. They forgot the batteries, the lights are not on. Those are the struggles that you will get in tuned with when you go out there on the road.
Yeah, that's anywhere. That's anywhere, yeah.
With meeting celebrities, I mean, I've met Jason Bradbury, the Crankies, Gok Wan.
You met Gok Wan?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I told you. And when I saw them, I was like, oh my God, celebrity! And I was just like, oh my God, so I can't believe I met someone on the telly. Like, I was wondering, as you're interviewing, do you ever get starstruck at all?
Of course, because most of the people you
Really?
interview, you're fans of them. So when you get into a position where you have to interview somebody you're a big fan of, it can be difficult. But the best way to do it is just by being probably like that for the first couple of seconds. I'm so happy I'm interviewing you today, so how was the fight?
I'd be like
You
that
know,
for the whole interview. I'd be like,
Yeah, I want to say something about. I don't ever get starstruck.
It depends. If you get into a position with somebody, if you've looked up to someone for some time, if it's a big boxer, a football player, I'm a Manchester United fan. I had the opportunity to interview one of the biggest stars in my eyes, in Andy Cole, and that 2 minutes of that was probably 2 minutes of the hardest questions I've ever asked.
For me, I would just appreciate them. I don't say, oh yeah. So,
I reckon if you met the right person, then you would.
He's a different breed.
You have to.
Listen, stick to that.
I will accept that.
You spoke about boxing. I know you're a big fan of boxing, and I want to take you to UFC 155 weight division. Conor McGregor, he beat Jose Aldo in 13 seconds.
Yep.
He's moving up to a lightweight division, fighting Rafael dos Anjos on 5th March. What are your takes on that? You think it's a good idea for him to move up a weight and fight against
For
Rafael?
anybody that doesn't watch UFC, we can just simply break it down as this. Conor McGregor is the Mayweather of UFC. He's the most flamboyant, talks a lot, very confident, incredible fighter, backs it up in the ring. Yeah. And I think for us fans, it's a wonderful opportunity to see him move up the weight and test his skills with other people that are probably heavier than him. I think it's a good chance. Definitely him. Conor.
Yeah, before we go, I would like to ask the last question.
Yeah.
The means no. The campaign African violence against the women. Where did that originate from?
That pretty much came from me just sitting and watching around, because we grew up in, I have to be honest, in a chauvinistic society back home in Africa, where it's all about men and men alone. So it's about time that African men just understand that women need to be respected as equals, and a woman's no is a woman's no. Nothing more to say.
Definitely. Yes, there you go. Round of applause. That was very heartfelt. Now, before we end the show, it's about that time. Miles, would you like to tell everyone what time that is?
It's game time.
It's game time. If we could dim the lights a little bit.
Okay,
so the game is you have 60 seconds to answer all 3 presenters 5 questions.
Wow.
And you have to complete them all within that 60 seconds. Are you ready, Susie?
Yeah, audience, you ready?
Yeah. Give us a countdown.
And
3,
2, 1, and go.
What hidden talents do you have?
Play basketball?
Have you ever been banned in a public place?
No.
If you could go back in time and change one thing, what would it be?
Maybe a little shorter.
What type of holiday do you like?
Miami, summer holidays, man.
If you could learn any language fluently, what would it be?
Has to be French.
If you were a world prime minister, what's the first rule that you would change?
Equal pay and equal rights for women.
What's your favorite saying?
No means no.
And 10 seconds.
10,
10,
9,
If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
6,
London.
4, 3, 2, 1, and stop.
And on that note, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much
much.
for
And
having
thank you, audience, for being amazing. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. Goodbye from us here at Real Talk 1-on-1, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.